My name is Jalil Sadool, and I'm one of the co-founders of Steamroller Animation, as well as the director of the pilot episode of Spice Frontier.
Can we please not do that again? Oh, agreed.
Steamroller Animation started in 2013, and we were on a team of 5, and I actually started in the back of a t-shirt shop. Today we are a team of over 200, and the goal for us has always been to tell our own stories and making our own films.
Yep, I see it too. Right over there.
Wait, what?
Hi, my name's Adam Meyer. I am a co-founder here at Steamroller Animation. I am also art directing on Spice Frontier Episode 1 right now. Steamroller Animation was really founded with the idea of storytelling. It's what we're passionate about. It's something that we've always wanted to do, and we left the larger companies we were at because we didn't feel like we were able to tell the kind of stories that we wanted to tell.
The idea for Spice Frontier came from my love for food and space. Now, I love Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, and all the adventures, and also I love Star Trek. Maybe there's a story there. Maybe I can have an ensemble of characters traveling the universe looking for the lost ingredients of Earth. What's incredibly important for us is to tell stories that are truly character but also emotionally driven. So for us, we are using the same technique of tabletop role-playing games, such as D&D or with the White Wolf system. Never as a dungeon master do you want to have a rigid plot line, because you cannot force your players to do what you want them to do. You just build a world, throw them in and see what they do. So we do tell our stories the same way.
I really think Spice Frontier, the short film that we did a couple years ago, was successful for us on a few different fronts. Primarily, we wanted to show ourselves that we could do more than just the animation, that we could do the whole pipeline. And so it was meant as a bit of a business card to the animation studios out there, potential clients, to say, hey, this is who we are, this is what we can do, and we'd love to work with you. We do awesome work with amazing clients every day, but it's always in their visual style. We have to hit their notes. And so for us, this was an opportunity as a studio to figure out, what is our visual style?
Well, it's not too bad. Aside from cosmetic damage, it looks like we just lost an engine coil.
So after the release of the short film, it did really well, and people reacted really well to it. It did the festival circuit, and it won quite a few awards, and it gave us the courage to continue to make more Spice Frontier stories.
Really, 3 planets in a month, and all that rare flora I've seen already. But, it's still strange for me, being on the same ship as a Varian.
Hello, I'm Josh Carroll, creative director on Spice Frontier here at Steamroller Animation. At the time that we made the original short, the studio was limited in what we could do, the time we could invest, the amount of artists on staff, and now we've really brought that forward with a full crew, and we're really taking every step of the process and really pushing it forward. And then beyond that, we also are leveling up our technology as well. So as we're integrating Unreal Engine and real-time workflows, we're finding key developments in the way we can tell visual stories, and they're really just opening a new door into the future for us that is really unlimited, and we're super excited about where it's going to go. The visual style of Spice Frontier is really based on a traditional classic sense of 2D animated films, where you have sort of flat graphic characters against a more rendered painterly background. We really kind of took that as inspiration and are now looking to kind of bring that forward into sort of the modern day and the modern era.
Anyone else hear that?
You hear it too. I thought it was just in my head.
Trying to develop appealing characters is like the holy grail for any artist. It's very difficult to figure out what is appealing, why is it appealing. One of them is we keep things simple, really push our shapes, and we make bold decisions about things, and we'll push them so far that they break sometimes, and we have to pull them back a little bit. But I think finding those limits for a character and how far you can push it was really important for us.
And the air is breathable. You can remove your helmets.
Oh, come on! Oh, that's disgusting. Someone got in my suit.
Hi, I'm Tad Branham. I'm head of design at Steamroller Animation, and I'm production designer on episode 1 of Spice Frontier. I come from a background that is very much focused on silhouette and forms that are easily readable. So I think to take those principles and transfer them into the animation realm, into the 3D realm, where we can take some of the principles of graphic design, where we're focusing on silhouette and forms that are easily readable, allows us to create characters that are appealing and interesting to look at.
So with the characters, what we did is we analyzed the original short that we produced and tried to understand and really look for the limitations in the character's facial expressions. And now what we're doing is we're basically building out the character more three-dimensionally, more expressive eyes, and with all these sorts of visual cues that are going to allow the audience to really hone in on them. Also, we crafted the models now to be able to push that performance and to really get a broad range of expression where we can push the animated quality, push the level of cartoon sensibility, or just enhance the drama or the expressiveness of the emotions that are going on in the scenes.
So a good example of that is when we were designing Sela in particular. We did probably hundreds of mouth shapes, and it wasn't until we settled on this very simple half circle shape. It helped us realize what we really needed to be focusing on with Sela was her eyes and her eyebrows, and how they relate expression and how she's feeling to the camera.
Well, that was close.
Hi, my name is Antonino Scodrani, and I'm lighting supervisor at Steamroller Animation, and I'm currently working on the Spice Frontier project. First of all, we need to understand that the characters do not get lit the same way that the environment is. So the environment gets lit individually on its own. We get to be able to add light pools and create a composition with lights and shadow. And when we add the characters, they just stand out from the background. So what we need to do then is grade the characters to fit accordingly in the scene, add rim lights where positions of lights make sense, and then on top of that, to just ground the entire character to the background, we add gobos to be able to mimic effects and just have a bit more dynamic in the scene.
One of the challenges we had when we had these very simple characters, very simple designs, and they're going over top of more detailed backgrounds is how do we make it look like they're integrated well with each other and they're harmonious to each other. And one of the inspirations we looked to actually was, Disney feature films from back in the day, movies like Sleeping Beauty. You look at that and such bold character designs against very detailed backgrounds, but they work. We challenge ourselves, well, why do they work? And for us, we discovered it was all about the value. If as long as you have the correct values on a character and they match the lighting values that you have in the background, then it works, and you can get away with quite a bit as far as the contrast between your character and your background because the values are working with each other.
The other way that we're integrating them is in the color script process. What the color script does is it's essentially a roadmap for the emotional beats of the story. And then from there, what we've actually been able to do is take the color swatches from that color script, and we're able to apply them to the characters when we're with the characters in Unreal, and actually use those color swatches to marry the characters to the background so they feel more integrated as a whole.
A lot of the tools that have been created over the last couple of decades have been made to leverage 3D and all the wonderful things it can do. And now we're coming in and going, we want to do something more 2D, more simplified in its design. And how do we achieve that?
So the first thing to keep in mind is that a traditional film workflow is extremely linear. One department does its job and then passes the product on to the next department, onto the next department, onto the next department. And really the promise of Unreal that's being realized for us right now in episode 1 is that multiple departments can become engaged earlier and simultaneously. So lighting is happening at the same time that layout is happening and animation is happening. And we're able to sort of all kind of collaborate more closely to refine to get a better whole at the end of it all.
Yeah, I wonder if we can get the particle stuff that you're putting on at the end of this video onto the interior as well and see how that looks.
The fact that we no longer have subdivision surfaces in Unreal Engine to work with, it changes the amount of polys that we can deal with at any one time. The lighting and surface information works from sort of a traditional PBR offline renderer. Many of our artists that have worked on the show have come from a traditional offline PBR rendered approach to animated film, and we've really had to adapt those skill sets to an Unreal-centric workflow, really to a game engine.
For example, setting up compositions and environments that environment artists are able to set dress. Lighters are able to give their first pass on these shots. Once animation comes in, we have our first part of the shot completed, and we're able to view it with all the department's contributions. This gives the entire team a boost of morale because they're able to see close to final results in engine while working without really affecting the performance of the project. One thing to note as well, Jalil, is
Yep.
in this shot we have the gobo. So the gobo will darken down the shade of Sela, but it won't darken down her neon parts because they're lights.
So I actually believe that the largest obstacles in developing the look for Spice Frontier Episode 1 are actually technological problems. And at this point, it's just a matter of finding ways to implement a very graphic, stylized, art-directed sensibility in Unreal Engine.
Because we're switching as a whole studio to Unreal, our workforce has to adapt as well. So there's this staggering waiting line of people having to first get trained before they're able to jump into the trenches and fix problems. It's all those different branches that are coming together where we have technological and artistic challenges. But there is a silver lining to it all. For example, rendering is way faster compared to a conventional VFX pipeline where you would do offline renders. Here it takes merely minutes to get a shot out. But obviously, it didn't come without its own problems.
I think anytime you do something new and different, you're going to hit challenges. We have, for example, a much bigger team this time around, where we've got 32 minutes instead of 8 minutes like we had on the short film that we've got to produce. We're doing it in a visual style that's unique to us. We're figuring that out, but then also, how do we actually create that? How do we pull it off? And on top of it all, we're trying to do it in Unreal, which is an amazing engine, but it's been mostly for video games. And now we're trying to do linear content in a video game engine and develop those tools to help us achieve that.
What's
Come on, Eloy, get the power back on!
880's pretty serious.
So I believe that the value of Unreal implementation to the studio is a forward-looking approach to animation creation. It allows us to iterate quickly. It allows us to iterate on artistic things like lighting early. So any director who comes in and works in our pipeline can really get amazing visual feedback very early in the show.
This is really looking a lot better now, and I'm happy that we got a lot of rotation and stuff in on those, that you were able to fix the problem with the rock rotations. I think we're almost there.
Now, beyond that, the complications have been that everything around Unreal Engine is specific. So we've had to tailor our whole pipeline specifically to how Unreal Engine works, how Unreal Engine transfers data, and the amount of computing power Unreal Engine takes, as we are sort of using Unreal Engine in a way that hasn't historically been the case.
Oh, that reminds me. Hey, it's been a month since you joined the Serrano. Happy month anniversary. What do you think?
It's been fine.
It's been fine.
The great thing about using one tool to do everything in it is how easy it is for emotionally to be invested in the film much early on in the process. A lot of times when you are watching shots in lighting is when you go, oh, that's what it feels like. And sometimes it might be too late to make changes at that point. And it's very helpful as a director and a creative to actually be making decisions emotionally so early within, in that process.
That hip movement feels a bit too much.
Species from every...
Feels like we need to tone it down, so maybe he doesn't start so far from the right.
The level of artistry that I've seen here and the excitement and the heart around the storytelling that we're producing is just gonna blow people away. And so I can't wait to share that with the world. I can't wait to hear what the world thinks of what we're doing.
A really exciting part of this project is that I've been on it since day one. I got to design Kent and Sela, and they're still my babies. And when we were working on the short, we were just dreaming of these other characters and hoping that one day we would see them get to come to life. And so to see that happen with this episode and to see the world expand, it's personally very meaningful to me to see that dream fulfilled.
I know for me, I get very excited when I see my peers out there in the animation industry doing different things. The fact that we're trying new styles, new storytelling techniques, new technology, using Unreal, all of these things will hopefully help push the animation industry forward. And so that's exciting for us, but hopefully it's exciting for the industry at large, because a high tide raises all ships, and we're all in this together, and hopefully we're able to kick the ball forward a little bit, and then our peers are doing the same thing, and hopefully together we're making the animation industry more diverse and more exciting with the type of stories we're telling.
But we have to try. And finding Earth ingredients is the first step.
The strategy of Steamroller animation has always been, if you build it, they will come. So we're using that same philosophy producing our pilot episode of Spice Frontier. Now, it's a different beast funding a whole TV series, but we know with the quality that we're producing, we will find the right partner to help us, show it to the world.
We're very fortunate in that Spice Frontier Episode 1, we're able to make ourselves, and that's really exciting. It's awesome. We're controlling our destiny. But at the same time, making an animated series like this, it's big. It takes a lot of work, a lot of money to do that. And so, quite honestly, we're looking for help. We're looking for a partner to help join us on this journey and just keep the momentum going that we've already started and carrying it all the way to, getting the season 1 completely finished.
Sweet pickles?
Yeah, sometimes I shout food names when I get startled.
I think the most important thing right now for us is the team that we have. You don't make something like what we are trying to do if you don't have a team that is fully committed in the vision. I cannot be more proud of this team because they know the difficulties, they know how, what are the challenges ahead of them, and they dive right in. I love every single person on this team and all the effort that they're putting, in this project. And I wake up every morning and I go onto a shot grid just to look at what everybody's doing. And everything that they're producing looks better than I could have ever imagined.
How long will repairs take?
Maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours max. Yeah, that's if there are no surprises.
Guys, it's not even far. Barely an hour walk from here.